First of all, I'd love to thank you for including us, for inviting us. It's been a very long time and we've been boxed off and looks like nobody cares, but I know you care. I enjoy sharing my experiences because I have realized that sharing experiences with special people like you empowers me and makes me think positively. I was listening to a speech by a lady called Kerry Washington, and she used the word other, and it perturbed me. And I was like, oh my God, where have I seen this word? And I realized that every time you're filling in a form, and you want to find out your identity, you click and click and click, and you go to this word other. That word has a lot of restrictions, and I just imagine myself, who is that human being that introduced that category? Who says LGBT community, people who don't have citizenship, asylum seekers have to belong to that category? I feel it's not right. I feel it makes people think less about themselves. It makes people feel unequal, and it reminds me of who I am, actually. And when you think deep about it, this word has classes as well. It annoys so much when you belong to the last one. I belong to the last class. I'm an asylum seeker, and I've lived under direct provision for 10 years, a decade of my life. Having lived there for all that long, I have enough experience. I have enough experience to tell you about institutional living, and it's painful. You can give me 24 hours to narrate to you everything. Precisely to take you through what direct provision is. I know now almost everybody knows, but I'll just tell you what it is. This is a system that was introduced in 1999 and was made active in 2000. It was initially set to look after asylum seekers for only 6 months as they await for their applications to be approved. I'm telling you, I've lived there for 10 years. And I came with my colleagues, and most of them have lived there up to 7 years and above. The experience is painful. And according to me, the system is unjust, is unfair, is ethically wrong, and many people have criticized it, writers, organizations, but there is no appeal by the government to change it or to ban it completely. It has restrictions. It takes your power away, the right to your power away, and I can only compare it. I know it's wrong, it's very, very wrong, but I can compare it to colonialism. We've suffered in there. The setup of a system, or the setup of a system is wrong in such a way that residents have given up their power. The term asylum seeker itself is enough to label you. When we go to institutions to open, like banks, it looks simple to you, like to open an account in a bank, and you give in your address and says, I'm an asylum seeker. People there would just say no, because you're an asylum seeker. When you want a driver's license and you give in your address, remember, we don't have IDs. When you come into Ireland, the first thing they take away from you is your passport. So we go out there and say, oh, let me get a driver's license. They won't give it to you because of your address and because you're an asylum seeker. So what happens to the body? What happens to you as a human being? Because we live under all these restrictions, we live under cameras, the body can't take it. So there is increased psychological problems. There is mental health issues. There is depression. We've seen people go to mental homes. We've seen families break up. We have friends that we meet now. We've lived with them for 10 years, but they can't even understand us. They can't even see their children because it's just too much for them. Under this system, we feel like there is no right to freedom of association because these centers are dispersed in the country and we live in isolation. We cannot integrate well with the wider community, and the transport itself to go and participate in community activities makes it so hard for us. Not only us, but also our children. Our children can't participate in community activities. Children grow. We want our children to grow with their friends. We want them to play with their friends in school, but they cannot. After school, they have to jump on the bus to hostels. They are labeled, they are discriminated against, they are bullied. But the parents we are so weak to support them because we don't have enough esteem. It's already gone. We feel useless. We have no right to work. Imagine you live in a system for 10 years and you don't have a right to work. It's so self-fulfilling, when you go and do something and you're paid, you feel human, you feel valuable. But when you sit down there and you vegetate and somebody just provides everything to you, why am I even saying everything? It's so painful, when you wake up early in the morning and you go and queue for toilet papers or for toothpaste. It's so, I don't have a proper word to use, but it devalues you as a person. And this right to work has led to income inequality, has created poverty, institutional poverty, which is affecting everybody. It affects children. We cannot provide 3 euros or 2 euros for activities, after school co-curricular activities for our children. I'm a mother, like other mothers or with other children. For example, there was last week, in the last month, there was a break of 3 weeks. In those 3 weeks, children have activities in school. My son never bothers to tell me anymore that, Mommy, there is this and that in school because you have to pay the 70 euros or 50 euros. It's a relief to me because I know, he knows that I can't afford it. That's why he's not telling me. But it baffles me. What does he talk about when he goes to school with his friends? So children live under that poverty, and it's affecting them, and it leaves a scar on them. I mean, I have a feeling this will come back to them when they grow up, when they're men and women. As a mother, every woman would love to maintain their children on the proper standard like others. What has this led to women do? To put their esteem under their feet, to make themselves available for pimps, men, for sex. It's so painful. I mean, they're not doing it willingly, but they're doing it to support their children. Imagine giving your body there for only 10 euros so that your child is happy. It's so hard. So I just think, and now in Ireland, it's women, prostitutes, that are criminalized. I wish these pimps, men, should be criminalized because they take advantage of such women. There is no right to a family life. Those living under DP, direct provision, have little or no privacy at all. Think about you living under one room with your teenage children. They need their privacy. You need your privacy as well. You need to model them How are you going to teach them surviving skills in life, like cooking, when you can't even make a sandwich in your life? Because you have to, we live under time limits. If it's time to eat, you go to the dining and eat. If you're not around, you won't eat. See, we are now here, we want this program, we love it so much. But if you go back home, the food will be served already. So we won't eat. And that's the way it is. Then if I was given a pen and a paper and artwork to draw the face of a woman in direct provision, oh my God, it's this woman who lives with pain. It's this woman who wears a mask. She's laughing and she's smiling, but she's grinning. She has this pain inside her. Her heart is bleeding with tears. But she has to laugh and smile with you because it's the order of the day. Why is she having those grins on her? Because all the problems I have mentioned above, it's like the woman carries them. Most men have run away from their responsibility. They're out in the community with women that can take them in. And so it's a woman in direct provision that has all this burden of looking at her child sitting at home when he's not going to school. By the way, there is also we have a limit right to education. We're not allowed to go to school. After doing Living Cert, children don't join third level education. It's very hard as a mother to maintain or to keep your son or your daughter at ease in their adolescent age. Now talk about when they are not going to school. They develop attitudes. They develop antisocial behaviors. We've seen young girls getting pregnant because they have nothing to do in their free time. I've seen mothers in Muslim with pain, chasing around their girls in dark corners because they are so free for life. I just have a feeling, and I know, that at this age, after doing your Living Cert, that's where a child is more focused to look for the career. Now they're just sitting there, vegetating, doing nothing. We feel it's not right. And in my view, I think for children to experience lesser childhood because of their migratory rights or migratory status is very, very wrong. They don't deserve it. Children have to be treated equally because they're children, they're angels. Why are they paying for us? It's us, we parents, that came here to seek asylum. My child was born here, like other children. I just feel he should be treated like an Irish child because he goes to school with Irish children. He has never been to Uganda. He doesn't know how it looks, It's here he knows. Why should they be treated different? We feel it's not right. And another thing, I would love to talk about children. These children are stateless. Ryan is not a Ugandan, or other children in the hostel or in the centers. They're not Ugandans, but they're not Irish as well. So who are they? They were born here. Some of them are 12 years now. They're stateless. We just have a feeling that it's their right. Once they're born, they're Irish by birth. But according to the system, they're none of that. What did I want to say again? Yeah. What I wanted to say is the system is costly. It's costly to the taxpayer. We have hands and legs, We can work. Why are we kept there? Why are they bothering you? You paying for where I live. Why am I not given a right to go there and labor for myself? I was talking to one man, he lives in a hostel in Waterford. He was in prison for 6 months. Why? Because he was found working. This guy was crying. He said, I've lived here for 6 years then he was talking to me, he had lived there for 6 years. He said he has never taken his wife to the salon. He has never paid anything or never bought a card or a birthday present or a present on Valentine's Day for his wife. He wanted to do it to better the lives of his family. But he was put in prison. We feel it's not fair, it's not right. So in my conclusion, I just want to thank all of you for your support. Social change is so hard. To achieve it is very, very, very hard. But with your support, you never know. One day, it could be possible. Thank you so very much.